Hello and welcome to Sign High. I'm Alana Best.
Kia ora, my name is Mita Moses.
Many of us don't know much about the courts until we have to go there. Most people don't know what to do, so often we visit a court register on the first visit. The New Zealand Sign Language Act 2006. Remember, it is our right to have a New Zealand Sign Language interpreter in legal proceedings. So you should organise one if you know that you have a court date coming up. A court register, their job is very important. At the High Court, they arrange interpreters and tell you what you need to do before your upcoming court date.
We are going to visit Gary at the Whangarei Court.
Hi Gary, thank you for giving us your time today. Can you explain to us what your role here is, please?
Yeah, sure. So my role is the Service Delivery Manager with the Ministry of Justice. So I look after the District and High Courts for Northern Ireland. So we have courts in Dargaville, Kaikohe, Kaitaia and Whangarei. And they're all pretty busy places.
So if a deaf person comes to the counter at court to pay a fine, for example, how do they communicate?
All of our counter staff are really passionate about providing really good service. And actually they have to deal with a number of different people on a real big range of things. People come to the court buildings for lots of different things. Fines is one of them, but also they are here to appear in court either as a defendant, they could be a witness, a victim, or even people come here to get married, which is kind of a nicer thing. Some of them come back to get divorced as well. But what that means is that our counter staff are really good at adapting to people's different situations. And that's exactly what we'd do if a deaf person came to the counter. It's really important to us that they can get the information they need when they're here and get the thing done that they want to get done. So we might do a number of things. Firstly, we would have a written form of communication for them, or they could write. Our screens are adaptable, they could turn around if they preferred to type to communicate with us. Or even if they preferred a device, we could get an iPad to help them communicate. The other really interesting thing that we would do, or the key thing that we would ask them to do, is to visit our website, which has just been developed, because they can pay things like fines online, and they don't need to come to a courthouse if they didn't want to. So yeah, we would ask them to go to justice.govt.nz and check out if they wanted to pay a fine that way.
If a deaf person is called to jury service, what happens there? How would they communicate?
Sure, so the first thing that would happen for jury service is that they would receive a letter, and that letter would just be saying, you've got to come along to an impanelling. That would be the first prompt for that person to make contact with us, and they could do that in a couple of ways. They could go onto our website again, as I mentioned before, which has a bunch of information that they could look at about the jury service and the process that they would need to go through there. They could also write to us, of course. And both of those are opportunities to let us know about any special requirements that they might have. And in this case, for a deaf person, obviously we could arrange somebody to sign for them. Again, just like a fine, it's really important that when people come here, they have all the information they need and they get a clear understanding of what's going on.
How long have you worked here?
I've worked here for just coming up 3 years now, so I came from the private sector, and yeah, I've been here for 3 years and I've really enjoyed my time here. It's been a very busy role, but I've been fortunate enough to work in a team of great people in Northland who are really passionate about what they do.
If a deaf person comes to court as a witness or a victim, how do you help reduce the stress for them?
Appearing as a witness or a victim is an incredibly stressful time, and the court process and the court environment for a lot of people, Alana, is a very intimidating environment. So look, firstly for victims, we have specialist victim advisors that help them through the process, because one of the things that's really intimidating for people is the unknown of what's going to happen on the day, the unknown of the environment. And so what we do is they meet with the victim advisor before they come to court, and that victim advisor helps them understand what's going to happen on the day and shows them around the environment. And with witnesses, it's also really important that we reduce those stress levels, and that's about them giving the best possible evidence. Of course, the other key thing for both those people, particularly if they're deaf, is that they understand, again, the information that's happening around them and what's going on that day. So obviously we could arrange interpreters or signers in this case on the day, and particularly if it's a longer type trial or a case or a hearing, we often get 2 signers, and we have in the past, because it's such a physically demanding role, that we will have 2, and they'll generally interchange every 20 or 30 minutes.
What about if it's a deaf person or a hearing impaired person who doesn't know or use sign language? How would you help or communicate with them?
Yeah, so we have a number of people who are partially deaf that attend court for a number of reasons. And we have a really good sound system here in every courtroom. And those are microphones that judges and lawyers and victims and people giving evidence speak into. We have headsets which help people hear that we can plug directly into that sound system. We also have specialist headsets for people that have hearing aids that can link directly to those hearing aids with pendants. So there are a number of things for people that are partially deaf that we can help enhance the sound, again just to make sure that they're really clear about what's happening in the courtroom on the day.
What positive changes have you seen in your time working here?
There's a number of positive changes, and we've been focused on a few things in Northland, and particularly ministry-wide. I think the biggest key change that we've seen is, as an agency, we've really focused on being customer-centric. We want to be easy to deal with. We want people to be able to come and see us, get the information they need, either digitally or in person, easily and quickly, and get their business done and move on with their lives. I think we've made some really, really good progress with that, and it's something that we're pretty proud about.
Thank you for all that information you've given us today. Thank you again.
Thanks, Leanne. It's been really nice to meet you, and thanks for the opportunity to talk to you.
Thank you to Gary for talking with us today. I hope you found some of the information helpful.
Wow, we have had 10 sign language lessons so far. Now Alana will give us some signs for in the courtroom.
Court. Lawyer. Judge. Police. Witness. Legal aid. Help. Yes. No. Please. Charge. Guilty. Not guilty. Court. Lawyer. Judge. Police. Witness. Legal aid. Help. Yes. No. Please. Charge. Guilty. Not guilty. Do you need help? Yes, please. Where can I find legal aid? At the Whangarei High Court. What is your lawyer's name? My lawyer's name is John Smith. Who will be in the courtroom? The police, lawyers, a judge, and witnesses. What is your charge? Do you need help? Yes, please. Where can I find legal aid? At the Whangarei High Court. What is your lawyer's name? My lawyer's name is John Smith. Who will be in the courtroom? The police, lawyers, a judge, and witnesses. What is your charge?
Welcome back. Next, we are visiting Vanessa, a lawyer, to talk about helping deaf clients.
Today we're meeting with a lawyer. Her name is Vanessa.
Hi, I'm Vanessa McGoldrick from Henderson Reeves.
So what is your role here?
I work primarily in the litigation department. I mainly do family work, but I have a particular interest in disability issues.
Have you had deaf clients before?
Yes, most of the deaf clients I have come to me with an interpreter alongside so that we can make sure that the interview goes along in a way that they can understand the information we're giving them.
So how do you make sure you are giving the best service to a deaf client?
Usually I try and get in advance as much information as I can from the client, and that makes sure that I can be fully prepared for the interview when they come in. And at the interview, try and utilise the interpreter as much as I can to explain it slowly and in a way that they're able to understand the information coming to them.
So how do you fully engage with a deaf client who uses New Zealand Sign Language?
I think that's really important to be communicating with the deaf person. So I like to speak directly to the deaf person, wait for them to listen to the interpreter, and then that way they may be picking up from lip reading. A lot of my deaf clients will lip read and pick up some of it directly from me, and what they miss pick up from the interpreter. So I think that that's, the deaf person is my client. I want to speak to them. I don't want to be directing my attention to the interpreter.
How can a deaf client prepare for a meeting with a lawyer?
In every legal situation, a chronology of events, a timeline of what happened is of a great assistance to a lawyer. It can help us determine whether there are time limits to prevent us bringing an action. It can help us sort out what evidence we're going to need from where. So for example, someone may come to us looking for a protection order, and we'll need to know on what occasions the events happened that led to them wanting that order. So although the details of the events are important, the chronology of when they happened helps us show the court the urgency of the matter. In other words, if it happened a year ago, you can't come to the court and say, I've sat around for a whole year. So timelines are very important for us to be able to understand where the person's come from, what their chances of success are, and it helps us figure out which bits of the evidence we still need to get from perhaps other people.
Is there any other information you would like to provide to the deaf community?
I think that because of the barrier of not being able to hear, a lot of disabled people with a hearing impairment hold off coming to a lawyer, thinking that it's going to be too much of a struggle to get that advice. So my advice would be, get a sign interpreter to come with you. Don't be afraid to come and seek out a lawyer. With that assistance on board and the right lawyer, we can achieve quite a bit for you. And we simply don't hear enough from certain people in the community because of their disability impairment, be it a hearing impairment or any other impairment. So don't be shy, come forward, find out what you're entitled to.
Thank you for your time. Explain to us more about your role as a lawyer.
No problem.
Now let's recap some of those courtroom signs. Court, lawyer, judge, police, witness, legal aid, help, yes, no, please, charge, guilty, not guilty, court, lawyer, judge, police, witness, legal aid, help, yes, no, please, charge, guilty, not guilty, do you need help? Yes, please. Where can I find legal aid? At the Whangarei High Court. What is your lawyer's name? My lawyer's name is John Smith. Who will be in the courtroom? The police, lawyers, a judge, and witnesses. What is your charge? Do you need help? Yes, please. Where can I find legal aid? At the Whangarei High Court. What is your lawyer's name? My lawyer's name is John Smith. Who will be in the courtroom? The police, lawyers, a judge, and witnesses. What is your charge? Today, Mita is going to talk about wharekai and teach you some sign language for in the kitchen.
As you can see, we are here at the kihini. Tangata whenua, hau kāinga, are responsible for feeding and looking after the visitors' manuhiri. Let's watch a video from Te Piri o Te Hā. I have a question for you relating to the video you have just seen. Which of the three choices is the right answer? A. Pōwhiri. B. Whakairo. C. Kihini mahi. Which is the right answer? The answer is C. That is kihini mahi. Here are the same signs relating to the wharekai and the kitchen. Tangata whenua. Kai. Whānau. Whakawhanaungatanga. Wharekai. The New Zealand Sign Language Act 2006 protects deaf people's legal rights. If you are wondering what it covers and what it doesn't cover, look on the Ministry of Justice website.
With NZSL Act 2006, deaf communities' rights are covered in legal areas, and people wonder what this does cover and doesn't cover. It is very important that deaf people have access to interpreters anytime and everywhere in New Zealand. Here is the information on the right to use NZSL Interpreter in legal proceedings for extra reading or support in state of your case.
So, we went to Whangarei High Court today. We know it's sometimes difficult to deal with court and lawyers, but you always have the right to have a support person with you. As a deaf person, you must have an interpreter. It's so important. You need to get the full information, what's happening and being said in court.
You're right. I agree with you, Alana. Remember, check the Ministry of Justice website. They have more information there. See you next week. Kia ora.
Bye.